或者大家已經習慣咗剷完草後，將草碎留喺草地上，回歸大自然。但唔係每一個市政體系都對回收草碎採取同一政策同步伐。庭園垃圾回歸大自然係政府同環保團體都大力推廣嘅理念。潘妙常報導。
剪草係加拿大唔少屋主夏天都會做嘅活動，視乎天氣，平均每2-3個星期就需要剷一次草。剪出嚟嘅草，大家又會點處理呢？自從1996年開始，多倫多市政府就唔再從 yard waste 庭園垃圾中收集呢啲草碎。之後，大多倫多地區嘅城市都相繼跟隨。最後，皮爾區亦喺2020年加入行列，唔再收集草碎。
The Region Council approved discontinuation of collecting grass clippings both at the curb and our community recycling centers since January 2020. We were one of the last municipalities in the Greater Toronto area to discontinue grass clippings, and it does represent a potential cost saving where we could use that money as the region towards other critical programs and services that we provide to our residents.
收集返嚟嘅庭園垃圾通常都會按比例混埋落有機垃圾入面，做出堆肥。
We need to dry the organics out, so there's a bit of a mixture. We use some of the yard waste to mix with the organics because you have to have a certain mixture. It couldn't be all collected together because then you wouldn't have the right mixture.
庭園垃圾一般包括樹枝、花、葉、雜草、南瓜等等。停止收集草碎，除咗能夠令政府減省開支之外，將草碎留返喺草地，對生態同草地本身更有益。呢種將草碎回歸大自然循環嘅做法，稱為 grass cycling。政府同環保團體都大力推廣。
It's beneficial to your lawn because grass clippings are 80% water, so it helps keep your soil moist. It prevents diseases to your lawn. You don't have to fertilize it as often. Just make sure when you're cutting your grass, the grass cycle, make sure it's dry and make sure you do it often so it's not too long. Otherwise, you're going to get clumping on your lawn.
除咗草碎循環再用之外，有環保組織提倡不剷草5月嚟幫助生態。對於剛過完嚴寒冬天嘅蝴蝶、蜜蜂以及其他花粉傳播昆蟲嚟講，5月嘅花草係重要嘅食物。如果成個5月都唔剷草不太可行嘅話，或者可以試下慢剷5月草。
When you do mow, then try and do it slowly. And you can even kind of walk across your lawn and kind of gently coax anything out of the way before you mow. And the same is true even for moths and butterflies and things. Give them a chance to kind of get out of the grass before you mow. So I like to think of the idea of slow mow may maybe be more important than no more may.
想增加前後院嘅生態價值，可以種植本地植物嚟取代更多草地位置，因為本地植物能夠為本地物種提供更合適嘅食物同棲息地，外來植物相對地就冇咁合適啦。
A lot of non-native and ornamental plants, they're very pretty to look at, but they're not terribly useful for wildlife for the most part. Even if they produce flowers, you'll see some bees coming to the flowers, but it's not always the case that that nectar provides exactly the right nutrition for the bees or the butterflies that come. And non-native plants tend to not provide the leaves that native caterpillars and things like that need to eat.
雖然本地植物生態價值高，但喺加拿大，園藝植物大多係嚟自市民原居地，以歐亞大陸植物為多。有唔少入侵物種最初都係被種植於後院，然後散播到自然環境。
Some examples that we find quite commonly in gardens and in sometimes adjacent natural areas are garden plants like lily of the valley and periwinkle, some of the honeysuckles, European buckthorn. Garlic mustard is another good example. It's an edible forest floor plant that was brought here probably intentionally because it was edible, but it has since spread throughout some of our forests. And that's something that the Nature Conservancy of Canada is busy working on in many of our protected properties throughout Ontario and beyond.
政府同保育團體每年花費人力物力嚟清除呢啲入侵物種，而呢啲入侵物種依然可以喺市面上買得到。保護環境就要靠提高大眾意識。
You can still buy some of these plants in the store, and we understand it's slow to change. The whole industry would need to pivot, and that can take some time. But the cool thing is it's becoming increasingly possible to buy native plants in garden centres, especially right here in Ontario over the last year.
近呢2年，終於有大型連鎖園藝中心引入本地植物。之前想喺多倫多地區得到本地植物，就要去農夫市場度購買，或者係同朋友交換。其實本地植物種類繁多，有好多更係非常美觀，而且完全適應本地氣候，唔太需要淋水同施肥。
For any kind of spot you have in your garden that you might be interested in growing a native plant, there's almost certainly a native plant that will fit what you need. We have deep shady forests, we have open, really hot, dry, rocky, sandy places, and kind of everything in between. You can buy things like prairie smoke is a great example of a native alvar plant. It grows on kind of bare bedrock or really shallow soiled areas.
喺生態價值上，有草地總比冇草地好。但對於環保人士嚟講，草地既嘥水，又需要時間打理，倒不如將草地換上更多不同嘅本地植物，為生態環境出一分力。
好啦，今日節目時間又到，下星期再見。